We have lots of people here who are time constrained as well.
Good morning. I would like also to take this opportunity to invite you to this conference. Please feel seen. Please feel seen. Grassroots women are unseen heroes in this country, and we appreciate the work that you do. Please receive a very warm hug from my end. I would like to invite my panel, and I would like to start with our Gen Z leader, Honorable Njeri Maina, Kirinyaga County Women Rep, Karibu. Honorable Njeri Maina is a dedicated and resilient Kenyan politician, currently serving as the woman representative for Kirinyaga County. She's known for her strong advocacy for women's rights, youth empowerment, and good governance. She has been instrumental in championing for social justice and gender equality. Her leadership is marked by her deep commitment to grassroots engagement and community development, making her a prominent voice in the push for inclusive political participation. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa. I would also like to welcome Honorable Gathoni wa Mushomba. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa. Karibu sana. I know most of us know Mheshimiwa wa Mushomba. I would like to read her bio. Honorable Gathoni wa Mushomba is a prominent Kenyan politician and the current member of parliament for Githunguri constituency. She is known for her strong advocacy on issues related to women's rights, mental health, and community development. She has been vocal on the proponent of social justice and gender equality. She previously served as the Kiambu County Woman Representative, my woman representative, and she spearheaded initiatives aimed at empowering women economically. Karibu sana Mheshimiwa. Dr. Pole sana, Dr. Gathoni wa Mushomba. Next on stage, Karibu Honorable Beth Siengo. Mheshimiwa Beth Siengo is a dedicated Kenyan leader, and she has a strong focus on community development and gender equality. She's also the woman, she's the president of the Orange Democratic Movement Women's League, and her mandate is to ensure women participate in party activities as well as inclusivity in leadership structures. Karibu. My final panelist, Councillor Muthoni Kihara. Karibu sana. Councillor Muthoni Kihara served as a Nairobi City County Councillor. She's a dynamic Kenyan leader and a community advocate known for her commitment to grassroots development and women's empowerment. She is serving as a county member assembly, and she has been at the forefront to champion policies to start. So our topic for our panel today is gender representation and empowerment at the grassroots center. Today we are going to explore the challenges and opportunities for women in grassroots leadership and focusing on how gender representation can be enhanced to drive social change. Because we are in the current wave of the Gen Z movement, first question goes to Honorable Njeri Maina. We know that we have intersectional issues when it comes to women in leadership. Young women often face unique challenges, and I think most of us have seen the unique challenges you've gone through because they have been very visible on media. What are the unique challenges when seeking leadership roles at the grassroots level, and what can be done to bridge the generational gap to mentor the next women leaders? You have about 2 minutes.
Thank you. I'm going to try sum it up. I see my senior Martha Karua is not here. I wanted to say that Kirinyaga is a very unique county. Martha Karua got elected at a very young age, in her early 30s. So for me, it wasn't such an onerous task because someone else had done it for me. And the reason the people of Kirinyaga believed in a young person because they voted me at 28 years, is because of the work that Martha Karua had done. So it is very crucial and important for us to see each other as a stepping stone. Besides that, of course, the challenge as a young person is financial constraints. I was running a campaign, I had no money. I was the chief campaigner, I was the chief strategist, I was the one who was mapping out the areas of Kirinyaga County. I was the one handing out the cards. I'd go to the market, talk to the women, tell them, look, I'm young, but I am qualified, and I am a daughter to you. So I am urging you to support me. Young people in politics need funds. We all know that our politics is centered around money. So perhaps the start of the campaign is to ensure that we empower young women in politics financially. You've mentioned on the generational gap. I felt quite fortunate to have people to look up to, like Martha Karua. I know a lot of people perhaps did not have a mentor or a role model they could look up to. But I had sort of a mirage outlook and thought that, well, you get into politics and every woman is going to support you. And I think some of you know of a very infamous incident that happened to me last year, which was instigated by a fellow woman. And I thought, well, I thought I'm coming here, I'm just starting out. So why would I be attacked or targeted as a young woman in politics by a fellow woman? So we also need to have a conversation between the young and the old, because I believe that they can offer us so much. We do not want to repeat the same mistakes or reinvent the wheel. I can learn so much from Martha Karua, and I remember she just reached out. We were from different political divides. She reached out, we talked for over 2 hours, we had coffee, and just that conversation to know that she had nearly similar challenges. So that conversation needs to happen, and we need to see it often. We don't need to feel that the older women feel like we're coming to take in their space. There's so much space for all of us to exist and shine, because men look at each other as partnerships. They hold each other's hands, they support each other. We have so many men in the political arena. You saw the other day when the president was traveling and his entourage was all male. No one is looking at each other as competition. But then as women, we have been preoccupied with the agenda of taking the limelight and hogging it all to ourselves. And we can thrive and support younger women in politics so that we ensure that in future we have solid leadership that is founded on ideology, that is not afraid to speak out and represent and agitate for change.
That is very profound. Thank you, Honorable Njeri Maina. We are standing on the giants of the women who are ahead of us. Honorable Wamashomba, you are very good in grassroots politics. I'd like to ask you this question. In places like Kajiado, grassroots women often face restrictions on their freedom to vote, with decisions on whom to support being dictated by their husbands. Additionally, issues such as marital rape, gender inequality in marriage, divorce, custody, and property rights remain widespread across Kenya. Given the level of oppression of these women's experiences, do you believe they will genuinely be concerned about politics and voting for a woman, or these issues are too overwhelming to prioritize political participation?
Thank you. Kwanza kabisa, allow me to tender my apologies for coming in late. My elder sister, Her Excellency Martha Karua, reached out to me and requested me to join into this conference. And I felt conflicted because I had already committed myself for another event, being a Friday. In my constituency, we hold funerals on Friday. So I had to delegate and do the siyasas of delegation. So my apologies. I'm very honored to be here to see very many women aspiring to become leaders in their own capacities and occupy the spaces available in women leadership. I'm elected in Githunguri, a constituency that is very rural, and rural women are naturalized to be assisters, helpers, but not leaders. But in Githunguri, we have refused. I don't know whether it is the cultural socialization that we have had. Women of Githunguri are matrons. We are the ones who run homes in Githunguri. We own cows, and the men talk about the cows in the shopping centers. But when they come to our homes, we are the one who milk, we sell the milk, and we demand for a share of our money from those cows. In Githunguri, we have refused to be naturalized as helpers. We have agreed with the women. And let me tell you, I did a lot of work for me to be accepted as a woman leader in Githunguri. I was the women rep for Kiambu, and I had to decide to grow politically and identify a single constituency where I will entrench my political roots. And when I went to Githunguri, no woman leader has ever been elected there. And so the men started talking, you know, we are not right for a woman, we can't be led. In fact, in Kikuyu, it sounds very bad. You know?
Yes.
You can interpret to the person who is next to you if you understand what I'm saying. It sounds very bad. It sounds very, very manly. Yeah. And they branded me Wakarinda. Wakarinda is a skirt. Yeah. And every other woman leader who wants to become a political leader, either governor, senator, no, senator is not very much contested. Single constituency and governor. We are branded Wakarinda. I know even Sisiri Balida was called Wakarinda. I was Wakarinda. Her Excellency Karua was always a Wakarinda. And by the way, then she never used to wear skirts. She used to wear suits most of the time. But they also still had to look for a Karinda to give her. So be ready for that Karinda. But in Githunguri, I decided I am going to look for women leaders who believe in what I'm believing in, to remove the women from the bank bench, to put them at the front bench. And I started off by going into the milk societies, the collection centers, and empowering women, whispering to them, why is the chairman of this correction milk center a man and he does not know how to milk? You are the one who know how to milk. How do you allow them to become the chairman of these collection centers? So I quietly went into those milk collection centers. I went into the women groups. In Githunguri, we had women groups, and then we have village welfare groups, which are normally very huge. They carry about 500 to 2,000 people, a welfare group where they take care of each other's harambes, funerals and weddings. I decided I'm going to make sure the women are the leaders of those big welfare groups. And so what I used to do, because I used to have money for GAF, the money that my sister Esther Pasaris has, and my sister Jeremiah has, and my sister Catherine Omanyo, who I love very much, I decided I'm going to use that money to change the narrative of leadership by using the money to control the welfares. So I went to every village, captured the welfare groups, and introduced a hema, a tent, into the welfare group through a woman, not through a man. So that, and I used to tell them, GAF fund is not for men, it's for women. So every time the chairman would say, why is she bringing a tent through a woman? Then I would say, please, GAF is for
women.
So if you want me to give you a tent in this welfare group, you must give me a chair lady who is a
Woman.
So I ended up changing all the welfare groups to be led by women. So, and every ward in my constituency, we have 2 large welfare groups carrying about 2,000 to 5,000. And I made sure that that welfare group has the bigger tent for the whole welfare and other small tents within the villages. And all those village tents, every village had 2 tents or 3 tents. The chair lady must be a woman. Okay? So when I decided now I'm going to ask for votes, it was so easy for me to go into the village and call the women and tell them, I'm coming to launch the tents together. So I would call the chairpersons of all the small groups and then the larger group, and then I would tell my women what I want, and I would sit like I am so nice and holy, and I would not say that I want to be an MP, and they will say that Gathoni is our MP. So that's how I did my campaign. I realized that the minute you go out there, and now I'm dealing with what you're calling the cultural, socialization and normalization. When you are a woman and you walk into the village and tell them, I want to be your MP, you will not get any votes. Because the men are already armed against you. So you have to look for ways of introducing your candidature to them through the back door. So I used to go and whisper to the women and tell them, when you speak, you say, you are so happy that now you have a tent and you would love Gathoni to be your MP so that she can give you the PA system for the next term. So they are the ones who introduced my candidature into those groups, and the men started hearing, oh, the women have their candidate called Wamushomba. And then they would say, do you think the woman can do it? And then the woman would say, yes, she already gave us something. She already came to our home. She already gave us this and this. So they are the ones who actually proposed my candidature. By the time I went announcing, we were already doing party nominations. So my enemies had not chance to fight me because I hid my candidature under the women whisper. Wamama hoy! Now,
so much.
The problem we have in Kajiado, and the problem we have in very many other rural communities that we represent here, is that we have normalized male patronage in the political space. It is so normal for you to talk about paterida, my paterida, Kadre Nomanyo, my paterida, Jerry Maina, my paterida. And every time you say my paterida, you're actually telling Kenya, you can't make a decision against your party leader. You can't go against your party leader's ambitions and expectations. You can't dance the way your party leader doesn't want you to dance. Hell, we must stop this. We must come out of this. The minute we patronize political space and allow the men to be the patrons, we are done. I'm sorry, I have no apologies to make, but I have apologies for the women who are in the room here from other political parties other than UDA. Please listen to me. I come from a political party called UDA. My political party leader pledged and signed a charter with women on what he's going to do once he becomes president. That women charter promised many things for women. We are now down 2 years, and those that we signed a charter with a signature in front of those cameras, none has been done. Why hasn't it not been done? Because we have allowed men to patronize women political space. His Excellency Raila Amolo Odinga, Baba, decided he has nothing much to offer to the women, but he can only make sure that our retention strategy in the previous National Assembly, retaining the women that were already there, he made sure he walked the talk. And he allowed the women, allow me, he allowed the women who are in that National Assembly, and one of them being here, Honorable Esther Passaris, not to go through the greasy party nominations, and allowed them to fight for the space when they were already there. The women of UDA and many other parties were taken through nominations. So we ended up losing strong women came in through UDA and other parties, but we ended up retaining so many women that were in ODM. Please let's appreciate Baba for that.
Yeah.
Now, when we go to the grassroots, pahali wewe uko na nguvu ya microphone, please, always tell the women not to allow men to patronize the political space. Let us also support women who have the capacity to run political parties like Her Excellency Martha Wangari Karua, so that we can all run to such parties that have spaces for women and understand where women are coming from. You cannot be elected as a president you own a party, you are the political party leader, but you're writing an executive order to parliament to order parliament to nominate more women into that parliament, yet you had an opportunity to allow more women to be elected through your own party. It's hypocritical. So what is our work here? If we really want more women in parliament, if we want to retain the women we have right now in parliament, we must make sure in the next coming elections, we are in charge of the political spaces, and we are not patronized by men. However, we must also struggle to adopt men as ambassadors of women in political spaces, so that they can be men for women in political spaces. I wish I had more time. I would talk forever. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. That was quite fiery, and you've ushered us into the next question, which Mheshimiwa Beth will handle, and it's on the multi-sector working group that has been tasked with implementing the 2/3 gender rule in Kenya. And could you share any insight on this progress, maybe, and what key challenges or successes that have been faced so far? Because we are looking towards a balanced parliament.
Thank you so much. I'm humbled to be before these great women, those who were before me and whom on their shoulders I stand today. Allow me to start from where Honorable Amchomba left it. Actually, thank you for recognizing that ODM did the right thing. Actually, the person who advised the party leader and pushed for direct ticket to retain the numbers is one Beth Siengo. I'm the ODM Women League president, and we had put strategies to ensure that we increase the number of women in political space. And that's how I advised the party leader. Honorable Esther Passaris is here. And I did a presentation at the National Executive Council. And I had even mapped the entire country. And I had advised this woman is popular here, this woman is popular here. I had marked them red, blue, to show blue they are the strong ones. If you deny them the ticket, you are going to lose. The red are the weak, but they can be supported. Moving to the question, it has been a struggle about attaining the 2/3. It is our constitutional right to get the 2/3. If I may declare here that the National Assembly is unconstitutionally constituted now because we do not have the numbers. What do we do? When I got nominated and landed at the Senate, on behalf of women, for women affairs, my first bill was on the 2/3. It moved from first reading, second reading. When it was moving to the third, I was called by the then Minister for Gender and told to stand down on my bill. There is a multi-sectoral task force that has been formed. I can see Honorable Daisy Amdanyi there. She was a member, and other women. And I did so because I was told if it is pushed by presidential memorandum, it will go through. And because I love women so much and want women to occupy those spaces, I had to step down on that. On condition, because it was submitted to JLAC committee, on condition, if it is not done within 7 months, then I'll pick it up. Now I can announce that I'm picking it up and pushing, whether it goes through or not, but I'll push it. Because I know others who were before me, like Her Excellency Martha Karua, tried it, and others did, but I'm also ready to push it. However, let me say this. Allow me to make an announcement. Women, the first women president in this republic could be in this room. This is the right thing to do. Bringing women together, educating each other, supporting each other, appreciating each other, building each other to move together. My heart cries for a strong women movement in this nation. If we do it, we are getting it right. And we'll have a women president. A woman president.
Yeah.
It is doable, women.
Yeah.
It is doable in Kenya. It is doable in Africa. It is doable in the globally. I would say this. For two-thirds gender, we must have strategies on how do we do it. Setting targets is very important. We want women at the county level. How many women do we want to put in at county assemblies? We must get the targets and we work towards achieving them. How many women do we want to be in single constituencies? We divine the numbers and we work towards that. How many women do we want to be governors? We set the numbers and we work towards achieving that. How many women do we want elected senators? I feel so bad when I sit in the Senate and I cannot vote, even for very important issues. My voice cannot be heard. Why can't we have elected senators so that they have the right to vote like Ben? Hello?
Hello?
And then, how do we get presidency? We have the numbers. Women are educated. Women are capable. We are able. What can we do? Because lots of things we are seeing about governance and poor leadership, if we have a woman at the rear, then things will change in this country. Thank you so much. You are telling me my minutes are over?
Yes.
And the way I wanted to say more?
I know.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is quite fiery. Women, we need a strategy, clearly. Welcoming Councillor Muthoni. You were voted in when the seat was called, now today it's what we call MCA. So you were elected at a time where cultural resistance was quite pervasive. Today we have 6 counties that haven't voted a single woman to any elective seat. In communities where cultural norms are strongly opposing women in leadership, what strategies have you seen work in changing perception and encouraging more women to step into leadership roles?
Okay, thank you very much. Let me start by saying that if you are a woman with a disability in this room, you have a voice through Muthoni. Can I first see how many women with disabilities are in this room?
Yay. Congratulations, women.
Let me first say I got elected at age 22, 23 in the old constitution where we didn't have quarters. So I was a Gen Z, I was a woman, and I was a woman with disability. So I've given that background to say to everybody in this room that it is possible. That it is possible. It is possible. Moving away from that, coming to why we are here, I want to recognize that we are great because we step on the shoulders of giants. So to those young people, because I see majority of us are young in this room, I want to say that we must always follow in the footsteps, and succession cannot be in a vacuum. So we must always build on what has been built by others, appreciate what has been done by others, so that we can also be great. The names Honorable Martha Karua read, Akina Field Marshal, everybody, Mekateriri Wamenza, everybody achieved what they achieved at their Gen Z age. So for you, you can also achieve, and every generation, every constituency has its own heroes. So aspire to be the hero of your generation of your constituency. And this constituency hereby in this room, I'm talking about women constituency. So for me, I want to say that we are talking about, this panel is about grassroots. And I want to say grassroots is the nation. Nani kama mama. If you look at the quota of the people in this room, we have more women with the disability than the 5% presented in the Constitution. Yes. It cannot happen. If you look at other conferences where they're done dominated by men, you will not see that kind of a. So for me, to start with, I want to say that I do politics in Nairobi, a cosmopolitan area. And I want to disabuse the belief that Nairobi is a developed constituency in terms of gender issues. Right now, out of 17 constituencies, we have only one woman member of parliament, Honorable Beatrice Zerachi, elected, and of course our women rep here, Honorable Esther Passaris. And let me take this opportunity, appreciate Honorable Esther Passaris for locating me. I serve in her GAF. And actually, she really, in her meetings, half are old people and half are persons with disability, the other half takes the rest. Anytime we are doing any awards for GAV, so I really want to take this on behalf of the marginalized among women to appreciate her. So what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that it is only women who can be able to build that constituency, because we start from the grassroots to the national. Here we are seated with women who sit in the National Assembly, in the County Assembly, and of course we are told even in this room we may have a woman president.
Yeah.
It all starts from the grassroots. But how does it start? Start by allocating yourself. Start by empowering yourself. And for me, the next challenge that I want to talk about, and really, I know there is a bill on public participation. I wish the public participation, because it's an instrument of governance that is helping members of public be able to give feedback. It is an instrument that can be used by women, because it allows participation on government projects, but it does not allow for monitoring and evaluation. And even when we are giving feedback in terms of, because I really participate in, when public participation is called, you realize it is skewed, such that it is the member of parliament, it is the county assembly governors who will decide who comes to participate, who is given the microphone, and all that. So for me, the call in this meeting, I wish Mother Karua Foundation can run with the element of seeing that the real and meaningful participation of women, both in evaluation and feedback, effective participation is done using public participation, because it's a government organ or instrument that is already there. Thank you.
Thank you for that call out of action. Thank you,
In my
Councillor.
conclusion, I want to say that mimi ni nani?
Mama.
Mimi ni mama. Whether I am a woman with a disability, whether I am a woman from Northeastern, whether I am a woman from the county assembly, the common thing is that mimi ni mama. And then we must also ask the question that has been raised by the two previous speakers, Honorable Siengo and Honorable Wamushomba, on the issue of political party space for women who want to run.
Thank you. My tribe is women, absolutely. I will move to Honorable Wamushomba. As a former woman representative, I think you are best placed to answer this question. Affirmative actions, such as the county women's seats, have been crucial steps towards achieving a more balanced parliament. Yeah. However, these seats are now being challenged, and surprisingly, some women themselves are calling for their annulment. How can we address their position? You see, most people say, "Yokite ina kazi." So how can you address this opposition and ensure that the gains in gender representation are preserved and strengthened?
Wow, that's a very in-depth question. First of all, allow me to just be very candid on this one. Much respect to the women who are nominated in county assemblies, in National Assembly, in National Senate, and any other opportunity that is available for nomination. But I want us to ask ourselves, before we even ask whether we can achieve the 2/3 in the National Assembly, how many of those that are nominated get to be elected? Let's start there. For example, last parliament, Honorable Esther Passaris can bear me witness, we had, I think, 11 nominated members of parliament, nominated by political parties. How many of those 11 were elected back into that National Assembly or into the Senate? I think we only got one. No. The nominated, none came back. But the ones who are in the Senate, one came down to the National Assembly. Remember, I'm not talking about the Senate numbers. I'm talking about the National Assembly numbers. So could we ask ourselves, from the days of Mother Karrua's aggressive activism, where we were able to get this opportunity to be nominated, because it is their efforts, the generation of the late Wangari Maathai, the Mother Karrua's, the Charity Ngilu, those are the women who fought for what we are enjoying today. From then, when we started getting these opportunities, what is the milestone? Have we achieved? Should we maybe sit back and now revisit this issue and come up with another strategy of bringing more women into the political limelight so that they can get elected? I think this is something we need to really think very hard, because you cannot be perennially, every cycle of parliament. I can see Daisy is looking at me so worried, because she's one of those that really fights for women to be nominated so that they can get visibility, so that they can get network, so that they can be elected and be motivated. But are we getting it right? How many years? Please remember, the seat for women rep is on the sunset clause. Is that not true for lawyers in the house? Jockey Boshe, where are you? You are the lawyer in the house. Yeah, the seat for women rep is on the sunset clause. Not yet. Oh, they removed it. But let's not even assume that whether it's there or not. Are we doing it the right way? Nominating 5 years, then we lose the whole lot. Then we nominate afresh. 5 years, then we lose the whole lot. I think we may need to decide on another strategy. And that is one of the challenges I would want to throw into this conference. Going forward, let us sit and discuss on other ways and strategies we can use to have more numbers. Now, the other strategy I would want to throw into the works today is the retention strategy. Retention. She is freshly elected. Jerry Maina is freshly elected, a Gen Z, 28 years old. We are so proud of her. If I had money, I would be traveling with her every corner of this country to tell young women of Kenya, it can be done. Let's appreciate this girl. Now, what should we do for Jerry Maina to be re-elected? Because she's too young. She needs to be in that parliament. She's a lawyer. She's intelligent. She's got all what it takes. What should we do for her to be retained? So a retention strategy is needed. Let us not assume because Esther Passaris has been elected twice, that time it will be a walk in the park. No, don't assume because Gathoni is elected twice, she's okay, she's a fighter, she will win again. No. Let us come up with a retention strategy, both for county assemblies, for National Assembly, and for the Senate. And even for the governors, by the way. We need to come up with a retention strategy. But I want to speak to the women in the room. I want to talk to you. Please, I have heard her say, I am a woman. I'm proud to be a woman. By the way, when I'm in the constituency, huwa nasimama hivi naambia watu, hata kama wazee wako hapo, hii skirts, hii kerinda, hii kerinda. I own it 100%. Na huwa naifanya tu hivi, naambia wamama na wazee, hii Kirinda hii, I'm proud to be a woman. But I don't want you to refer to me as a woman when we go to a negotiation table. I want you to refer to me as a leader, MP. Don't call me a woman when you go to the negotiation table. Now, our problem is this. Shida yangu unajua mimi huwa naongea sana. When we sit in parliament and the Speaker of the National Assembly points at Esther Passaris and say, what are you saying, you mama? You mama. Because my speaker has done it twice, by the way, and this is not even, it is factual, it is there in the Hansard. When you sit and call women in the political circles as tags as mama, hold on mama, mama for Joro, hold on, I will come back to you. Who is mama in the National Assembly? I am an MP, like any other MP in the room. So when we normalize such kind of tags, such kind of demeaning perceptions, then whenever we go to negotiation tables, we are suppressed the same way. Because you are mama. I have heard even my president saying, those women MPs. Why doesn't he say those male MPs? He keeps on saying, women MPs, women MPs. Hello, can you drop the word woman and call me MP? Because I so deserve to be treated as an MP. We must undo the normalization. That normalization of you are a woman, you are treated like a woman, you have to be given special treatment because you are a woman. We must put that under and fight it out on the parallel platform so that we can get it right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. That got us really riled up. I ran for office in Juja, and among the key challenges that I went through was having a chief campaigner. And my chief campaigner was a man. But when I would recommend my strategy, I saw him dismiss it and do what he wants. And I had to fire him. And I could see the patriarchal rage. And he mobilized young people to come and beat me up. But good thing is that when the young people came, they realized the politician that had been called to beat up is a young person too. So they stood down, and I'm so grateful for that. So for young women who are upcoming, Honorable Beth Siango, chief campaigners play a pivotal role in steering political campaigns. Yet we often see these positions dominated by men who may feel superior to women, sometimes disregarding the strategies set by women candidates and running the campaigns as they see fit. How can women navigate this dynamic and assert their leadership effectively in such situations?
Thank you. Allow me again to start by making another announcement. In Kenya, we have 42 tribes. Kindly can I request all the women in this room to declare from today, we are going to have the 43rd tribe called woman. We are women, whether young or old or middle-aged, we are women. Can we declare and push it in this Kenya that we are going to have a tribe called? Thank you. I would say this, in the Women League of ODM that I lead, we started a program called the Young Captains. The Young Captains are young women. Could we be by any chance having a young captain in this room? Do we have any? Young captains? Okay. The young captains are women in universities, in colleges, or those who have just finished university. Oh yes, I can see one young captain there. Thank you. Thank you so much. We involve them and make sure they participate in political processes. Whenever we have activities, we push the young captain as a chapter. In the presidential campaigns, we pushed young women as young captains. Our Excellency, who is up to now my Deputy President, had Honorable Eri Haron. She was there to represent young captains, to make sure the young women are incited, invited, and doing by seeing and participating. So it is very important because none of us is here permanently. we must be ready to pass on the baton to young women. And for us who are aging, as we hand over the baton, we should not feel that we are being sidelined. Time is moving. It is important to prepare. Those who are other Mother Karuas, Beth Siengos, coming, going ahead. I would say it is very important to know a space of a woman. I would say, actually for me, how I started my politics, I'm a teacher by profession. I jumped out of a classroom. I was teaching at Mwingi Boys, 3 months to election, and I said I'm going for Member of Parliament in Mwingi North. I ran against Kalonzo Musyoka, and I said, yes, I am able to do it. I have stood because I want to copy what she said. Whenever I'm saying it, I say what is here is not the skirt or the dress. What is here in my head is not a skirt or a dress. Even in school, when we were going in primary school, girls and boys, I was beating them and coming position 1, yet they were boys there. Because what is here is not a skirt. What is here does not define us. So it is important to feel free to work with young women, to make them do what we do, to see how things are done, to do the way things are done. I want to appreciate the women rep for Busia County. Actually, in our team, she has put young captains, young people. That is the way you work with them. Let them see and do what you are doing and say what you are saying, and they are learning.
Yeah.
Because we need these young people to occupy the space and work with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa. I'm being alerted my time is almost up. Councillor Muthoni, in a short minute. I would like to see your contribution to the grassroots women movement. And we have a very good example with what Honorable Martha Karua is doing at grassroots level. We had the Green Belt movement by Honorable Wangari Maathai. What do you believe is the most significant barriers that are preventing grassroots women movements from being quite successful?
I'll start by saying that I'll say 3 things. I will say 1 is information. 2 is poverty. 3 is our stereotype based on governance structures at the grassroots level. Because, again, a previous speaker said that women are the ones who do everything, including milking. Nowadays in Central Province, we have this plant called avocado. But all of a sudden you realize when avocado has become marketable, it has now become men's business. But previously, when it was just a fruit that is being eaten in the shamba, it is women who were dealing with avocados. Now you go to the villages, it is them who are in the circles, who are in the leadership. So for me, I think the journey continues, that what we require to do is continue with the fighting for the space of the girl child, starting with formal education, because an educated girl, once you educate a girl, you educate a nation. Even now, most of the people who have had space or fought space for other women is because they have gotten that exposure through education. So for me, it's a continuous journey, and to challenge the stereotype that of male leadership, of women working on the ground, but now when it comes to the policy level, hata ukienda kwa nyumba 10, utapata nyumba 10 ni wazee wako. But when you go to church, recently I attended a church Harambee, and actually in the church Harambee, that whole church, I counted, had 250 3 men. One was the chief, the other one was the MC, the other one was, of course, the MC, because we have come for a Harambee, so he's the one who is now speaking. And of course, The other one was the chairman of the church who was doing now the formal church announcement. Fortunately, that day the preacher was a woman, but you can see the structure of leadership at the grassroots level. We still have a long way to go so that the voices of women can be heard. It is our own challenge that we also continue amplifying our voices. You cannot be located until you scream. You know, when the ambulance is driving around, that is when we realize that we need to give way. So we have to keep on screaming, and sometimes it may not really be very honorable, but we have to continue doing it so that we get our space.
Thank you, Councillor. And I hope you had a wonderful time. As we close, I want to give Honorable Jerry Minor to close. She did not have an opportunity for a second question. Thank you so much. Mheshimiwa Jerry Minor, you can close for us.
Thank you. You know, I was telling Mheshimiwa Mushomba, Wanjiku works in my office. So if she tells me time, she could not have a job tomorrow. And we all don't want her to have a job tomorrow. On a light note, so for me, I think it is very crucial for women to partner with men in politics. And oftentimes I look at men as partners or people that I can collaborate with. And this war will not be won if we look at it as if we are angling for who is number one, who is number two. I recall when I was vying in 2022, my father and I were very close. You know, he was a yin and I was a yang. And unfortunately, he had an accident and passed on 2 weeks to the UDA nominations. I had no money for campaigns, as I said. The governor had a candidate. My former boss, the former woman rep, had a candidate. So basically, I knew no one in the political circles in UDA. I didn't know the top honchos. I was just, yani nilikuwa tu natembea kwa giza. So I looked for the current senator, Kamau Morango. And I had not even gotten well acquainted with him. But I had a sit down with him at a hotel in Kirinyaga, and I told him, you know, Senator, I'm a young advocate, and I have the passion to lead the people of Kirinyaga County. I have no funds, and I have no one who's holding my hand. So I'm requesting if you could support me and hold my hand, and in exchange, as an advocate, we can do a sum up of up to around 5 million work that I can do for you, because I know you do business. And I remember something very important that I had never heard someone tell me. He was touched. I'm going to support you because you're a young woman and because I have 2 daughters at home. And I would want one day for someone to hold their hand and support them wholeheartedly. So for me, from that point, I began to look at the perspective of men as people we can bring in the conversation. There are so many he for she. There are so many men here, and I want us to clap for them and appreciate them. I meet so many fathers who tell me how inspired they feel just listening to me and watching me. And I know if we walk this journey together, we will go far. As I wind up, it is also very important for young women in politics to identify people who speak to their core fundamental values. A mentor is not just anyone. Not anyone is going to mentor you. I mean, they can mentor you to be some shitty things I really don't want to mention. So you have to identify someone who speaks to you as a person. I recall a very momentous time at a crossroads, and it's quite interesting that Martha Karua just comes up in my conversation all the time. So the first time I really met her, we were having tea at some hotel. And a friend of mine, I used to be a musician back in campus. I've been a jack of all trades, basically. A friend of mine just passes by and sees me and tells me, niko na Martha Karua, tumeketi sijui wapi, mahali hapo unaweza tupitia ukimaliza chai. And I was like, okay, what am I gonna say? So, because we are, you know, it's at that time in politics, it's heated up, we're in different divides. And I remember I just said, well, why not? Let me pass by, because it's someone that I have always looked up to and admired. And I passed by, and I remember asking, I don't know whether she remembers us having this conversation. I asked her, like, I was feeling like I'm walking on eggshells. You know, I'm in a party, there's some things that I really would not agree with from a level of my conscience, and I really wanted to speak out and represent the people of Kirinyaga County in a very bold manner, because there's nothing demure about me. You know, I'm very bold and articulate, and I really speak my mind. So she told me, just be authentic, you know, be you. So I was trying to look for me and also survive in that political space And I remember going into meetings and I was just looking at these people and I'm like, you guys, you have no idea what is coming for you. Like, I am so loud and noisy. When you give me an opportunity to speak, you will be so offended because you are used to this girl who is tiny and smiling and pretty. And I was like, I am not anything like that when I speak. So let us look out and seek for leaders who speak to our core fundamental values that we can align with, that we can collaborate with, and form a formidable force. Thank you.
Thank you so much. What a wonderful panel. Another round of applause for them. And for our moderator, Wanjiku Biga. Well done. A big round of applause for her as well. So if we can kindly ask the panel to stay on stage, we want to do a photograph, as some of you do need to leave. We'll ask elected officials to join them up on stage as we sort of arrange the chairs and do a photograph with all of you. Some valuable insights there. I hope you used your pens and papers and wrote down all those insights. Thank you so much to the ladies for sharing and for being so open with us. I'll ask our sound assistant to give us a little bit of background music as we do the photos. So any elected officials in the room with us, please do join for this photo. Say Wakirinda! Woo! Instead of cheese, we're saying Wakirinda!
What's the price to love you? Would you still leave here with me if I have a dollar?
Thank you very much. An epic photo. Thank you very much again. A round of applause for our panel and for your participation as well. So we do have another panel. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's amazing, our leaders and where we're going to go with these amazing insights as well. Please don't worry about it. It will be. Oops. Thank you. So now, before we go into our next panel, we're going to have a little discussion with the Gen Z in the room. So I'm going to invite Isabella Audrey and Frida Kemunto. Isabella is a mental wellness advocate, and Frida Kemunto is a student leader. If you could please give them a round of applause. Please to have a seat. So it's a quick conversation. It's literally a question each. Due to time, we don't have much time, but we'd like to know from our youth representatives in the room today, and maybe we can start with you, Frida. What do you expect from the women leaders in our country today?
Hello everyone, my name is Frida. I might appear a bit shaky, a bit afraid, but I'm not afraid. I am overly excited because I'm seeing women of power in the room today. I believe this is not an opportunity that it's easy to get, but I really appreciate being amongst these great women of our nation, not only in the political space, but also in the corporate field. Mine today, I'd really want to share what I have in my head as Frida and also as a student leader from Catholic University, and to top it all, to get support and mentorship from our women, because they are the ones who will pass the baton to us. Yes.
How about you, Isabella? What do you feel that the youth are expecting from our leaders, especially the women leaders in our country today?
Thank you.
All right, thank you for this opportunity. My name is Isabella Audrey. I am a mental health and psychiatry practitioner. What young people expect from the women leaders of today is nothing much. It's what you've seen Honorable Beth do right now with this microphone. It's to be helped, listened to, assisted where we need assistance, really. As a young person, support is all I would want from the women here.
And you say you're a mental health, mental wellness practitioner and advocate as well. You have an NGO for advocacy.
Yes.
Okay. Talk to us about mental wellness within the younger generations and what that's looking like and how it can get better.
All right, so the other day I was telling my sister how I see it. My sister is Honorable Catherine Omanyo here, who has been a great person in my life. She's really helped. So I was telling her how I see it. Mental health right now in Kenya should be considered a national crisis, because even as I work, we are admitting a lot of mental health cases, and so it's something serious, and especially among women, and I'm glad we have women in the house right now. Because as we admit, if you differentiate the causes of admission in men and women, you realize with the men mostly it's about substance induced, maybe the alcohol. With the women it's anxiety, depression, bipolar, and yeah, true, right? And so it would be important for the young women and the older women to take their mental health seriously. Because as we're sitting here talking about empowering each other, but are we really okay mentally to even receive the empowerment and to even work with each other? So I would encourage that we start with the mental health. I could be a little shaky right now, we, as my sister said, but I hope my point gets through. Take your mental health statuses very seriously. Start there, if anything. What was the end of the question again? Can you repeat?
It was just about our mental wellness. I've even forgotten. I didn't write it down.
Oh, yeah.
But it's how can we help ourselves?
Seek for help. We've heard here that women have been told to keep quiet, you know. No, we are past that now. Just speak, ask for help, reach out to people like us. We will direct, we will help. Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And Frida, what are the leadership challenges that your generation face?
When it comes to leadership challenges, I wouldn't say there is a peculiar challenge that I have encountered.
We know you're leaderless.
Yes, there are several challenges we encounter as leaders, but personally from a point of girl child, one of the greatest challenges that I've had, because I interact a lot with girls at school and even at home, is assault. Or when you want to get to a point, seeking an opportunity, there is harassment from the other gender, especially those who are holding higher positions. Speaking from that angle, as a student leader, there are so many fields you get to venture into, but lately down the line, I've come to see that I have interest on matters pertaining to sexual reproductive health and rights, which encompasses menstrual health, gender-based violence, and so on. This is a field that I don't really think has been haujaekewa mkazo kwa namna inayofaa. When we speak about actually GBV, we have the latest incidents of Rebecca, the 33-year-old athlete. And through this, we have several outreach programs as a school, and also with my friends from home. We come together for physical campaigns against sexual reproductive health and rights violations. We speak about gender-based violence through mentorship programs and different initiatives. And this, we also do it in our school. We organize for talks for the students. Allow me to commend my lecturer in the room, Madam Matangani. We work together with Madam Matangani from Catholic University, where I serve as the current Vice President, School of Law. Yeah.
Amazing. And finally, before you go, do you feel as young Kenyan women, I know that we have very strong role models, but do you feel that they are celebrated enough? Maybe we can start with you, Isabella, and then you can let us know your thoughts, Frida.
I think now we're starting to recognize and celebrate them. For example, an event like this one, thank you so much, Honorable Martha Karua, for such as this. Now I know the people to celebrate. You know, people who've been born yesterday, we really sometimes don't know who is who. But events, yeah, that goes to show they're not celebrated enough, that's what I'm saying. But events like this, I feel now we'll start recognizing and celebrating them enough.
Frida, your thoughts?
When we speak about celebrating women, I take it as an angle of how do we appreciate them in our society? Do we give them places to serve us? That is the, I guess, one of the best way we can say we celebrate women as our role models. Like today here we have different women holding different positions, be it in the government or in the corporate sector, which should be applied. But looking at the example that Martha Karua gave us today, we have 23% of women taking the parliamentary positions, yet the global standard should be at 25%. And our constitution itself says that we need 34% of women representations. That is a margin of more than 10%, you know, 34 minus 23. Yes, we are celebrating them, but we should put more effort into celebrating them well.
And as you quote Honorable Martha Karua, I will quote her back to you. You are leaders, and it is indeed also up to you as the next generation to continue to highlight and celebrate our role models. You need not wait for events such as these. You can go out in your spaces as leaders and highlight and say that these are the women I look up to, and these are the people who are our heroes. Thank you so much to our Gen Z representatives for this very short and quick conversation. Thank you very much, Isabella and Frida. And I'm going to ask you guys, as well as Wanjira, to be on standby. Oh yes, come and do a photo as well. But we're going to ask the youth to be on standby. Yes, please, anybody who wants to join this photo, come and join this photo.
Shaskia kikingia ni kuplas huko ngabado unachukuliwa madam, so anguka nao itabaki umefulwa na vibe. Anguka nao
Bad girl in the house.
Mteja patikani hadi late night saa 6 ndo taniwai nikupin location na nikofana na hii sukate call niko chomba ya G. Mimi najua utakuwa irizo ririzo, acha nikushow kwanza form ni hadi don. Nishashika mpoa na twende chini kwa chini akiwa hadi na mini. Sasa tunasikiza Shin City, tuna feel free. Teka video na post pale NGC. Jina ni Kantel Kurapsi ni talent G. Anguka na anguka nao cheki, anguka nao twende.
Thank you so much.
Stand up to your feet, mikono juu.
And I was going to say to the Gen Z, please, you guys are on standby because we're going to do a challenge after the conversations. We hear that Honorable Karua likes to get down. Sorry, there's a bit of a issue with the steps here, so just be careful as you come up. Because it looks like there's a platform and there's not. So yes, let me say it once more. Our Gen Z, you guys are going to be on standby because I'm going to throw it to you youngsters as Honorable Karua, Her Excellency, loves to dance. So be ready with some dance moves. Now we're going to vote on the song, whether it's going to be Jerusalema or Anguka Nayo. Which one? You want to dance to Anguka Nayo? Do you know the dance moves? You all ready for it? Okay, wait, we have to have another conversation before the volume goes up. Before we Anguka Nayo, we will definitely first give Asha her platform and allow her to have a beautiful conversation. So we're going to go ahead and do our final panel. And I know in the last one we said if you had any questions, just because of time, we weren't able to take any questions. But feel free afterwards to ask anybody questions. The other thing that I've been requested for is photos. I know today is monumental, it's epic. So hang around after the panel, after our little Anguka Nayo dance, we'll do photos. Because if we don't take a photo, it didn't happen, right? It did not happen. All right, so now to the moderator, Asha Bashir. Please give her a round of applause.
Good afternoon. I hope you are not sleeping. We are about to have another steamy session. Then after that, we will do the dance. So allow me to introduce the next panelists. The Honorable Esther Passaris, Woman Representative, Nairobi County, Mama County. Allow me to invite to the stage the Honorable Millie Odhiambo, aka the Bad Girl. Allow me to welcome Daisy, who is a women rights activist and a practitioner. Allow me to invite Honorable Assumpta, who is also the SG of the Kenya National Federation of Jua Kali, Nakuru chapter. Allow me to invite Wanjira Wanjiru, who is a social justice activist. So you can see I have a packed panel, so hakuna kulala. So I'll swing into time because of time to ask. I'll start with the Honorable Mama County, Esther Passaris. And the question is, as a woman representative and a person who's been elected to parliament several times, from your experience, what are the challenges that you have faced as Esther Passaris in terms of the election in the 2 terms you've come in as a woman rep?
Thank you for this opportunity.
challenges, I think because I ran 3 times before I got in, all right? So in 2007, I ran for mayor of Nairobi, 2008, MP for Embakasi, 2013, woman rep for Nairobi, then I got in 2017 and 2022. I think what's important is to be in a strong party, all right? Because it gives you that, you could be known, but it's also important to be in a strong party. But when I look at 2007, I mean, I was supposed to be mayor of Nairobi, but I needed to be gazetted. So sometimes the powers that be can deny you the opportunity. On the Friday before the elections on Monday is the last day that the local government ministry gazetted at 5 o'clock in the evening. So over the weekend, there was no time for me to rush to court and try and stop the election. So I just had to go with, just endorse the person who was in our party. So ODM carried the day, but I wasn't in the Gazette. In 2008, as I ran for Embakasi, I was up against Waititu, and I trusted a lot of men to help me with this process. And some of them were actually double dealing. So you really have to have your intelligence on the ground, because and then money was at play. I mean, I think the famous socks full of money was an image that was captured. So I was like, don't sell your vote. That was my campaign. But the electorate, at the end of the day, will go either for the money, all right, and then the person who I trusted, right, was double dealing. So much as I had enough evidence to win a petition, I trusted somebody to serve the petition for me. And then his phone went off. The time lapsed, and before you know it, Waititu was sworn in. We didn't have a petition. In 2013, I went to Peter Kennett's party, all right, and it wasn't, we didn't have agents, all right, so it was free fall. I think at that time KNC thought that Kenyans, with 1 million followers, Kenyans will come out, volunteer, be agents, and the elections in Kenya, unfortunately, if you don't have agents, and even if you do have agents, if you don't have the money to pay them, you're in trouble. So 2017, I got in. I already was a brand because I've already started from 2007. I was Mamata. We worked with, and I was in a strong party, ODM, the mood and everything was right. In 2022, I think Martha Karua gave me, Her Excellency Martha Karua gave me an advice, stick where you are. Right? Because at that time I'd already joined Kenya, and she said, stick where you are, because that's where, join ODM, because that's where you'll have more strength. So here was a woman who did not look at me being in her party, but looked at what is the chances of me winning. So again, taking that good advice and sticking with the party. So for me, its resources are very important, visibility are very important. Being stoned at is normal. Being chased into police stations is normal. It's still happening even now. So the thing is resilience. And I think online bashing, you've just got to have thick skin. All right. And then emotions. I was once feeling very emotional about the deaths that we had in Nairobi and not being able to cry and feeling pressured. And then, of course, talking to our minority leader, Millie Odhiambo, she said, you know what, you need debriefing. So counseling also comes in, talking to people about your experiences. I mean, I was with Meg Whitman recently in a conversation, and she was saying that even though she's such a successful businesswoman, losing an election sometimes can have an emotional toll on you, and it's like you don't understand why it's happening to you and why you're feeling that rejection and the emotions. So it's important to talk to people, to have a good support friendship circle, and at the same time to seek expert advice when it comes to counseling. Yeah, it's not easy, but we've done it, so you can do it.
The next question is to the Honorable Millie Odhiambo, and the question is, how do a woman who wants to join politics counter attacks during campaigns? How do they navigate the tough terrain? Because most women look at it and say, hii kutandikwa sitaweza. So how does the bad girl manage to ensure that she can be able to counter attacks during campaign all the way to the election?
Be a bad girl. And in being a bad girl, what it means is, first, before you get into politics, you have to be clear about who you are, know who you are, believe in who you are, and don't seek permission from anyone about who you are. Because if you get into politics, feeling that you need affirmation, then I'm telling you, you'll come out of politics tattered. And the reason is, you will get people cheering you on, but you will equally get people whose business is to attack you. And they will attack you from your hair to your toe. And they will attack you using anything. I use different ways. Sometimes I ignore, which is very rare. But my best strategy is return to sender. Attack me if you are ready for my response. I remember the first time when you were nominated and you were on interview on a then popular show, I think it was on Citizen, Louis Otieno Live. And I remember Louis was asking us when they're sitting in a panel like this, nominated women, and then he said, I'm going to ask you during the break, he said, I'm going to ask you tough questions. Are you ready? And I think all the other women, because we were all new, they were like, oh, you know what, me, I told him, no, I'm ready, but are you ready for the answer? So he said, yeah, because he thought it was tough. So when he went there and he asked us, oh, we've been told you are nominated because you slept with the party leaders. You're asking me on national TV. Even if I slept, is it any of your business? Why are you asking me on national TV? As in what part, how is it helping climate change in Kenya if I slept with a party leader? So he asked me about that, yeah? And I think all the other women were like, you know, one was a Muslim, so she's like, you know, I'm a good Muslim woman, I can't do na. Shebe, she's like, I'm a married woman, I can't na. I told her, which part of your body did I use? Then he said, so everybody was like, how can you ask that on national TV? I mean, how can you answer that way on national TV? And I said, and how can you ask that on national TV? The reason is men think that there's some scarecrow that they can use on us, and because they've used culture and religion consistently against us, because we are so eager to be nice women, to please, so that we can be seen as good wives, good mothers, good grandmothers. Kwenda huko na good grandmother, good wife, good what, good nyat. Because that's how come you occupy all spaces while you are busy being good. So please take that good and make it history. We are not going to allow you as men to put her, and then every time you want to come out, you say, look at her, she's wearing a short dress. Look at her, she's not speaking godly. Look at her, I can speak godly. I've just come from a meeting, I would have been here much earlier. I've just come from a defense meeting. I sit in the defense committee, and then the entire defense or military of the country was with us in Mombasa. And so when I walked in, because I'd come in on my own, because I didn't trust the military choppers to go with that. So I went to Kibiangu. So when I arrived a little bit late, and when I walked in, I could sense in the room that they all laughed. They're like, gosh, they're nudging each other. She's here. She actually sits in this committee. And I think one of them told me later, and they were saying, how is this meeting going to span out? With Millie Odhiambo in it? So we sat down and we had very good conversations and everything. But because the chair of my committee knows me, so when we finish, he says, okay, now we are going to pray. Then he says, Millie, pray for us. And they all burst out laughing. Because I'm a bad girl, I'm not supposed to know how to pray. I know how to pray, but I also know how to return to sender. So don't try me. I will use the right one appropriately. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Millie. To Daisy, women are the backbone of any society. There are social and economical, cultural barriers that have hindered women's growth in leadership. My question to you as a practitioner then is, how do women overcome the social economic barriers that deter them from sitting in leadership positions, be it politics or outside politics?
Thank you very much. First of all, I think it's wrong to put the burden on women, for the women to have to overcome these barriers. These are barriers that we must jointly seek to destroy, because we must understand that the exclusion of women is actually systemic. There is a structure that has been put in place that delivers privilege and opportunity to men on the basis of a lottery of birth, because nobody chooses to be born male or female. So it's an unfair structure, and it is that structure that we must deconstruct, okay? So society constructs it around issues of gender, okay? And gender is a social construct. And these things that you're talking about, when they talk about that you have to be a good woman, that you have to be in a certain way, that is how society has constructed gender and relegated women to those roles. So that where there is power, where there is money, where there is resource and decision making, is not a space for women. But we must understand that there are no male or leadership roles. I mean, there are no, leadership is not a male or female thing. You find natural leadership in women or in men, you know, just like when you look at children, you know. So this is about deconstructing the societal norms, how we assign power and privilege. And our constitution actually has done that by ensuring that we have certain clauses that give women equal rights and opportunities. Now the problem is that those that have benefited from that privilege have all but refused to reorganize our society and our politics to make it more accessible. Even when we talk about even this, the system, our electoral system is an unfair system. It doesn't allow those that don't have the power, might, and resources to access it. First past the post is not a fair system. So you have to keep trying and looking for quotas within that system. When you want quotas, they tell you you want free things. You know, you're constantly, the system makes women renegotiate their place, right? And what we must do as women is refuse to be boxed into that. And I like the conversations that we are having. We've got to understand that this is a collective problem that we face. And so we must fight together. And the problem is, you know, you've heard this oft saying that they say women are their own worst enemies. Well, that is a product of that system, because women are socialized the same way that men are socialized. So women are also socialized to see women who are strong and want to be in that space that has been defined as a powerful space as bad women. So it is good that the women are willing to be bad. You know, many women are afraid of being bad because the same system that accuses you also tries to taint your reputation and everything. So we need concerted effort actually as women working together. And I like what Honorable Beth Siengo said, that we should have this tribe called women, because Kenyans know how to galvanize around tribe. Tribe is everything. It doesn't matter if you're a thief, if you're a murderer, if you're my tribe, we're good to go. We need to build that around our leadership as women, that we must come together. Now, this is one thing that women don't know how to do well. Women do not know how to separate issues. Kweli si kweli. I will see Radhani wa Mushomba and I will remember how she talked to me badly the last time, so I don't want to see her. Men are very good at separating issues when it comes to their interests. I mean, Ruto is campaigning for Raila in China. I mean, like, you know, these people, they do things that you are left. You know, they come, they divide us, and they say, Muchawi, Mwizi, Nini. Then you all enter into the camp of if you are in the side of mchawi, munaita mwizi. Watu wa mwizi wanaita mchawi. So we are enemies because of them. Then tomorrow, breaking news. Hi, there is a new, and then sisi tumewachwa now in those two enemy camps that they have created. So they choose for us our enemies. So we need to become more politically aware than this. And it is time for women. The only way, by the way, power is not given. Power is not given. So when we say, oh, how are women going to do? First things first, we come together. And we must learn to close ranks. Honestly, if we wanted to, Martha Karua will be our president tomorrow. I mean, like, this hands down, okay? You know? But what? We say, oh, chama, oh, what? We can do the work. What I'm saying is, we can organize around this because it is only those who have where the shoe pinches that can change things. It is only when women started getting into parliament that we started seeing the social issues that women deal with being addressed. That is only when women got into leadership, you know. They talked about sanitary towels. Waliambiwa, don't bring those dirty things into this house. They're like, how is it dirty? I mean, all men, anyone born here is because your mom menstruated, you know. So, you know, but the problem is that period poverty has kept women excluded. Women address those issues. Issues of domestic violence. We have a bill that actually recognizes domestic violence as a crime. Sexual offenses bills. You know, there are so many laws that have come in only because women got into parliament. So the only way that we are going to deconstruct is we put those people who know and understand those issues. But for that to happen, we've got to dismantle this system, and we've got to dismantle them also in our minds, because we also have that same bias. We must deconstruct it in our minds also, and we must reconstruct what leadership looks like, and say leadership looks like women, and leadership looks like many women. The men, let them fight for that 2/3, but let the women come together, and we can do this. So we must stop talking about coming together and actually come together and see what can we do between now and 2027 to change things. Right now, the Gen Z are helping us. They have blown wide open this political landscape, you know, and demystified very many things. How are we walking into that space and changing this narrative? That, for me, that is the real challenge.
Thank you. Assumpta, you belong to a political party. What do you think is the problem with our political parties, and why is it that we have political parties that actually women still do not sit in certain hierarchies, and the representation in both houses and the county assembly is still minimal? Why are we not getting to the Rwanda standards where women are actually more in parliament?
Thank you. It's a good question, and to the right person. Surely, I belong to a political party, Jubilee, and the Women League, Nakuru County. Let me say first and foremost, the main challenge that we have with our political parties is in primary, in our primaries nominations. And I think that is the giant in the house, because most of our political parties, let me say, they are corrupt. A speaker today said, let us call names the way they are. You know, they might not be all of them that they are corrupt, but most of them, they are. And when we are looking for the spaces to be elected, you do a lot of work, you use a lot of money to ensure that you get that primary certificate so that you can be able to vie. I'm telling you, you work like a donkey. You use your money. Sometimes you don't even have time for your family. And at the last of it all, you are snatched that primary certificate when you're very sure that you had gotten it. So I think there is a lot to be done in the political parties. I don't know why they have chosen to sell the primary nomination certificates. I don't know why they have made it a business. And to my understanding, A political party is supposed to advocate for wananchi. I think the political party role is to give civic education to the people. It is the vehicle that is supposed to enlighten the people on how to elect, who to elect, and actually even after elections, political parties are supposed to maintain their role to ensure there is no corruption, to ensure accountability and transparency in the government, and actually political parties most of the time fails us. Why? Like now after 2022 elections, which political party have you seen giving people civic education? Which political party have you seen going around as a political party saying that 2023-2024 finance bill is not correct? Me, I saw only one party. Allow me to say, thank you so much, Mother, because NARC Kenya has been on it by its own, not a coalition. Other parties could hide themselves in the coalitions. They could not come out as a party, remembering that this coalition is made of parties, but each and particular party has a role to do as a party. It doesn't mean that a Jubilee party has to agree with ODM because we are in a coalition. No, the role of that particular party and its ideology should be observed from scratch to the end. So let me say that has been very, very unfortunate that we need these vehicles. They are supposed to be there so that we can be able to do our elections. But I want to say it is important, and there is a need for the issue of corruption in political parties to be addressed. Unfortunately, it's like political parties are owned. You know, to my understanding and my thinking, and I don't think I'm wrong, once a political party is registered, belongs to the people, belongs to its members. The members have a right to say this is wrong, to say this is right. But unfortunately, a chairman of a political party is untouchable. An SG of a political party is untouchable. And those two determines who gets the primary certificate to be elected during the main elections. She said, Pasalis, thank you. She said you need to choose the political party that you shall vie with, so that you can at least you can be sure that you will get it. But now you have chosen the good party. I saw women crying. I saw women feeling like they were actually depressed. They had put sums of money into that particular party, selling their properties to support that particular party, and at the end of it all, she was not given that certificate. It was sold to somebody else. So it's my feeling and my thinking as a Assumpta and a leader in Nakuru County that however much, I don't know what is supposed to be done, but I think ORPP, or the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, needs to do something, needs to discipline the political parties, needs to get into the nitty-gritty of how the political parties are discharging their duties, because I think that is where we go wrong. Because then why do we have the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties and the roles of that particular office if they cannot manage the works or maybe whatever things and fishy things that the political parties are doing? So I think that's all I have to say for now on the side of the political parties. Thank you.
Thank you. Wanjira Wanjiru, we saw you during the protests. You are a co-founder, Mathare Social Justice Center, and my question to you is, as a social activist who's been engraved in the society in terms of the grassroots, how do you think, or what strategies should we envision and actually implement to ensure that we put the voice of the woman at the ground? Because I'm sure you interact with the locals and you get to see majority of the issues streaming from Mathare, as an example, is basically around women. So how then do we locate her, as we said today, to ensure that we have a strategy to make sure the women at the grassroots level are also heard?
Amazing. Thank you so much for that question. But first, let me say that I am very, very happy today that I am in this room full of awesome, beautiful, amazing, powerful women. And I hope Honorable Martha Karua, you're able to host more of these sittings, because when we come together, when we talk, we move. Sindio? When we come together, we create community, we create society, and we are able to advance. And allow me to give our bad girl Millie her flowers. We love you as the Gen Z. We love how feisty and fearless and what a baddie you are. When I grow up, I want to be like you. Yes, and of course, Honorable Mushomba, thank you so much for all you do. Thank you. Thank you, everyone in the room that stands up for the girl child, for what is right, for justice, for human rights. We see you, you inspire us. We see that we are not crazy in our heads when we are back at home in the grassroots. We see that other people actually are bothered by the issues that are affecting this country. And they are women like us. And they are articulate, they are bold, they are fearless. So it inspires us to continue walking in our authenticity. So asante sana. Now, to the question that you have asked, it is very, very important that we change the political landscape in this country moving forward. That whole Gen Z protest that we had the other day, I'm sure it's a culmination of many other efforts that have been put before by the people that came before us, by the institutions that have been there, by the activists that have been there. But now, we cannot continue like everything is normal. And no one is coming to do this work for us. It's going to take us to do the donkey work. I'm calling it the donkey work because it is a lot of work. It is heavy work. It is tiresome. It takes all of your energy. Speaking from my experience, at the end of the day, I'm so beat. I am so tired. But I know we have to do this work. So in my community justice center, I'd like my colleague Winnie to stand up. Winnie, just stand and say hi. Winnie there is coordinating the Teen Moms Network in Mathare. So we saw the need to organize the teenage mothers in our community, to put them in a group where we can talk to each other, where we can educate each other, where we can give each other the support and solidarity and the strength that's needed to come out of that. And this network is speaking to other teenage mothers in the community that, hey, and other teenagers, that this was my experience. I was vulnerable and I got into this trap. And I do not want you to fall into the same trap. I want you to know about your strength as a young woman, your potential to continue with school, to continue that kind of organizing. The other network we have formed is from Sadia. Please stand up, my sweetheart. Sadia is coordinating the Dobie Women's Network. So Mathare and Isili are just there. So we have a lot of casual laborers coming from Mathare and going to Isili, and they experience a lot of violation, And so Sadia and other women have come together to form the network and actually consolidating it into, what is it called? Yes, a trade union. Thank you, Seifu. Consolidating it into a trade union so that not only are we fighting for our rights, but we are also ensuring our economic liberation. Economic liberation is the key to women's liberation. We cannot move without the resources. We cannot move without the finances. Most women condone gender-based violence because you're like, okay, nitaenda wapi? I don't have money. It is the money aspects that have put women in abusive situations, abusive relationships. You cannot go because you're like, what about my survival? What about my children? But women are also great organizers, come up with a solution every other time. And this I have learned as a community organizer. No time have we come to put our heads together. We ask, what business should we start as Teen Moms Network? What should we start as Dobby Women Network? For example, they're coming up with a community park for other Dobby women to bring their children and leave a small fee as they go to work. Isn't that brilliant? Isn't that creative? So that they're ensuring their economic survival, so that they have a voice, even as they go to negotiate for whatever pay that they're going to be given. That aside, on the political aspect, this is the roadmap that I think is most certain, that we hold community assemblies, which we've been doing in Mathare, and they are issue-based community assemblies. For example, right now, you all know in Mathare, we face the evictions immediately after the floods, and our biggest worry is that our land is taken because there are conversations, there are hush-hush, that this land wants to be taken to build affordable housing. And now we are holding community assemblies, sensitizing everyone that we need to come together to defend our land. Unless we are given a place to go resettle, hatubanduki. We are not going anywhere. Unless tumepangwa hatufanye nini, hatubanduki. But now I cannot do that as Wanjera alone. I am going to need the whole community to stand up and to fight. So that calls for more community meetings. We sit down, we talk, what will the women be doing? What will the young people be doing? What will the men be doing? So that we are coordinated, so that we are organized. Now, once we are able to do community organizing and now you're able to take back that word and say, this is a liberated word, because the people are in sync. They are thinking one thing. They are together in their thought. We move to another word. The issue that affects that word, to Semeni Maji, Kayole I know has had issues for the longest time. You bring the course youth groups, those chamas, those women. Let us be sure that when we are going to battle, we have the full armor. And defeat is not an option. Yes.
Thank you very much. Honorable Esther, you vied several times and things didn't go well. There are women who vied in the last general elections and have now vowed and said, we are not going to go back because of one or two reasons, mental breakdown, burnout. What would be your advice to those women who've tried elective seats and have lost and have now totally given up?
I think people have to go through the healing process, but you know, it's like going for a job employment opportunity, because you're going to the electorate and you're asking them to employ you. And when you go for an interview, there are chances that you will get it and you will not get it. You can't give up. And I think I remember when I was announced by Baba as the candidate in Kibra, I had not told my family that I was going to run. And then when I got home, my daughter says, Mom, what's wrong with you? I mean, don't you get it? You know, you're Kikuyu, you're in ODM, you have failed 3 times, you want to run again. And you know, that night, I was like, I need to get into my room and just pray. Now, one thing that we do as politicians, we go to churches. I mean, on a Saturday, you can go to 7 or 8 churches. On a Sunday, 7 or 8 churches. In between, you go to a few mosques. I think I went into my room, and that was the first time that I actually went on my knees and I said to God, I said, God, you heard my daughter. One, she's already thinking that because of my tribe, I'm in the wrong party. We cannot be tribal. I have a little Kikuyu blood, but that doesn't mean I have to be in a Kikuyu party. So I want to break that narrative.